As you board, please move across your car to make room for everyone, and kindly offer available seating to those needing special assistance.
Hey, howdy, hey, and welcome to another episode of Disney Assembled. I'm Troy,
And I'm Mimi.
and we are your happy little father-daughter podcast, here to create joy and share our love for all things Disney.
Disney Assembled is sponsored by our patrons over on Patreon. If you would like to join them, check out patreon.com/DisneyAssembled.
Yeah, we'd really appreciate that. And speaking of our Patreons, I want to give a special thank you to Lizel. Lizel, thank you for joining us on the Patreon side as one of our members over there. So thank you very much. Little claps for you. We really appreciate it. So if you'd like to join Lizel and all the other patrons on our Patreon, membership starts as little as $2 a month. And with that, you get
Yes, it
access
does.
to all the exclusive patron-only content over there. All right. We have some things to talk about this week, Mimi. There's some stuff because we have our normal topic of the week. We'll continue our series, right, on why the park we're going to talk about is the best Walt
Mhm.
Disney World park. We're going to continue our series there because we've already talked about Hollywood Studios. We've talked about Epcot. We're going to move on this week to a new park. We're not going to tell everybody what it is yet. We're going to keep them in suspense.
We gotta let it marinate.
But there was some news that was dropped last week near the end of the week. And it was actually dropped on the Walt Disney Company's 101st birthday. So, Walt Disney Company turned 101, right, last week. And Disney did a weird thing to celebrate its birthday. They announced yet another option to get on an attraction, a new Lightning Lane program. So
Awesome. That's exactly what the community needed. Another Lightning Lane program.
It's exactly what the people were asking for. So you fill out all those
Yes.
surveys at the end of your trip, and it's like,
More Lightning Lane. That's what they want.
there's not quite 10 different ways to get on an attraction. Can you get it? Can you give me
Yes.
more options here? And oh,
Is
by the
this
way, I
one
haven't.
just like its own line, like a new third line
I'm gonna tell you
option?
about it. No. It's even better than that. I'm gonna tell you about it here in a minute
Oh.
because I know you, being in college, probably you haven't kept up with it, right? So
Yeah,
my
I
job
just
is,
missed that altogether. I don't know how I didn't
well, it's
see
okay.
it.
And I'm certain that Disney, in the feedback they got from guests, they got feedback that they weren't spending enough money. They needed to find another way to spend some more money. So I'm joking around here. If you look on our TikTok,
Right.
I did a video about why people shouldn't be all upset about this new Lightning Lane Premier Pass. The Lightning Lane Premier Pass
The
gives
Premier Pass.
it a air of sophistication, right? The Premier Pass, right? And so for you and for our listeners who may not be aware, I'm going to try to summarize as best I can what Lightning Lane Premier Pass is. So Lightning Lane Premier Pass would be available for both Disneyland in California and the Walt Disney World Resort in Florida. Both East and West Coast, it's available. The pricing is dynamic. It starts at $129 per day per person.
My god.
Oh, wait, that's the starting price.
What? Oh,
From
no.
$129 per day
No, I'm
to as much as 400 and I think $30 or $40 a day.
Oh,
per
you have
person.
to be joking. $430 a person? Oh my gosh, that's like $2,000 more on your vacation for one day for a family of 4.
But you're not even. You didn't allow Disney to tell you what the benefits are.
Perks of this
Now that's
$432.
before tax. By the way, that's before tax. So add tax to that. Right?
This is the Star Cruiser all over again.
People have said that. It's a pilot. It's a pilot program. They're testing.
Stop doing this with your fingers. You're giving a bad vibe. No, you're doing a bad juju of
Gonna do both hands. Okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
It's a pilot program, which means Disney's trying something out, and I think they're going to try to figure out what to do with it, right? And again, go to our TikTok account if you want to see all my reasons why people shouldn't lose their minds over this, right? So, $129, $400 something a day plus tax per person. Now, in California, you can use the Premier Pass at both Disneyland and DCA on the same day.
Okay, so
right?
it's like park hopperable.
No.
Oh,
In
it's
Disney
not.
World, you can only use it in the park you buy the pass for. So if you're going to Magic Kingdom, you buy the Premier Pass for the Magic Kingdom for that day because the pricing will be
Oh
different for the other park. I'm sure the
my
cheaper park will be
god.
Animal Kingdom. Now, here's what it gives you. It gives you one time, immediate access in the Lightning Lane for any attraction, all the attractions that use Lightning Lane. Now, you don't have to make a reservation. It's not like you have to go in and make a reservation on the app. You see
You
a
just
lightning
walk up
lane,
and you're
you
like,
scan your thing, you go in. Any Lightning Lane, no matter what, you can go on it using the Premier Pass, but you can only use it one time per ride. So let's say you're in Magic
"Per
Kingdom.
ride?
Well, wait a minute. You're in Magic Kingdom.
Per
You want
ride?"
to use it. You want to use it for Space Mountain. You scan. You do Space Mountain. You go do the park. You can't use it again on Space Mountain. Once you use it on that ride, you can you don't have unlimited. It's not unlimited use. It's one time use per ride for the day. Okay.
Okay.
So, and it's only available. It's only available to guests staying at deluxe or DVC
Yeah, there it is.
properties.
So it's
So like if you're staying at Art of
already
Animation, if you're staying at Pop Century, you can't buy this.
okay, well, if you're I have so many thoughts on this. Are you done explaining it?
I think so. I'm not sure if we're going to
So
get to the regular topic, but we're going to talk about
yeah.
this.
No, we need to talk about this because what? If you're watching on YouTube and you've been watching my facial expressions, like you know that I am floored by this. Universal does something kind of like this. They do I don't know what it's called, but they do like a one-time purchase fast pass. And I don't totally know how it works, but I do know that you don't have to do any sort of reservation situation. But I think at Universal, that is the only way to get a fast pass for a ride is to buy this one like all day pass. I don't know how it works. I don't want to compare it. I'm sure somebody else on the internet has already compared it, but that's steep. $432 is so
Well,
expensive.
that's the maximum price.
Right, but they were telling us when Genie Plus started that it was gonna range between $12 and $25, and pretty consistently, it's at $25 a day.
Well, let's
It
just
will
say it's
constantly
250.
be.
Let's
Let's just
just
say it's
take a number in the
still
middle, 250.
I think
A family of
that
4, it's
is
$1,000 for a
so
day.
steep. Here's what I think about this. I think I understand what it's supposed to do, I
Yeah.
guess. You pay more money, and you can get on whatever ride you want, whatever. The problem that I see with this and why I don't think people are going to buy it is that people who are already staying at DVCs and staying at deluxe resorts are doing 5, 6, 7, 8 day-long trips, and they don't need to buy that to get on every ride. They're gonna be there for a week, like, and I mean, they're gonna be able to ride whatever they want. They're also gonna be willing to pay the Lightning Lane fee to get on whichever rides they want, right? I think it is a disservice to this idea to not make it available to everyone. I understand that you wanna make sure that there's no maximum overflow of people just walking onto Space Mountain at any given point, but
They want to
I
limit
think
how many people have it
right, but
because
I
if
think
there's
that
too
it
many people who
should be
have it, it gets out
available
of control. Yeah.
I think it should be available to people that are staying at Art of Animation because when you look at the numbers, people are staying at these mid-tier value resorts, and they're staying for 3 days, and they do Animal Kingdom and Epcot in the same day, and then they do Hollywood Studios one day, Magic Kingdom another day. Like, they do this 1 park a day system because that's the time that they have, and I think that this would work for the 1 park a day method, but nobody is really doing that anymore that stays at a deluxe resort.
Well,
There's no need for it.
if you're park hopping, you can't use it at the second park unless you buy
Yeah,
it for the second park. Now, listen, I hear what you're
but
saying,
that's
and your sentiment
so
Your sentiment is fine, but this is not about that.
This is
This
about
is
making
about,
money.
well, so I want to, and I mentioned this in the TikTok video. Man, I want y'all to go watch the TikTok. We're blowing up TikTok, but I'll mention this. They're rolling this out very soon in the last quarter of the fiscal year. So I think what they're going to, it doesn't cost them anything. It's going to
No, it
be, I
doesn't.
mean, it's pure profit. It's not like they had to implement any new technology. It's already
Right,
there,
no.
right? So,
It sounds like a money grab.
well, I don't like that term, but they're a for-profit company. I don't mind them trying to get more money. I think they're testing this out. Here's what I think. They're going to do it the last quarter of this year. They're going to see how much money they make. They're going to do it the first quarter of the beginning of the year. They're going to get that New Year's crowd. Things will calm down. They'll get some data. Before the summer, they will either scrap it, revise it, change it, roll it out to more people, change the pricing. They're trying to figure out where the sweet spot is to do a service like this.
Right.
You know,
And I
are people
understand.
willing to? And now, but wait a minute. So the other thing is, it makes buying the regular Lightning Lane feel like a deal.
Yeah, it does.
But
It very much. It
it's
makes it.
only available to DVC and deluxe resort people, and most people in the park aren't staying at a deluxe resort, and they're not saying DVC.
And so I feel like if you want to get the majority of people to spend money, use the majority of the people, not the minority that's staying at DVC or deluxe. But it definitely, I think you kind of hit the nail on the head. It definitely makes spending $90 for a family of four to ride Tron seem way more appealing than this, and Tron is obviously not virtual queue anymore, but it is still Lightning Lane. Like, you still have to purchase it if you wanna get in the Lightning Lane, and
I
I
don't know enough
think
about the spending habits of people who stay at one resort or the other. The other thing you keep in mind, if you're
well, I can
traveling,
imagine by trend, right? I mean, think about what we do when we stay deluxe versus when we stay value. I mean,
yeah, but we
I
don't
s
buy
we s
Lightning Lane.
Well, I mean, but that's my point, because we stay at the Polynesian, because every time we think, "Oh, let's buy Genie," we say, "Oh, well, we're gonna be here 3 more times, we'll just ride it then." It's not worth it, and I when I stayed at Pop and we were there for 4 days, we made the decision, we spent the money on Genie, and I wonder if this is a big kind of like going back to what you said, I wonder if this is more of less about this program itself making money and more about trying to drive people to buy Genie again and to get people to spend money on Genie. Like, I wonder if Genie numbers are dropping. You know what I'm
What's
saying?
interesting to me is the price point almost discourages people from doing like VIP tours.
Yeah.
Because if you spend the money on VIP tour, you're going to get through the lines anyway with the VIP tour. And to me, it kind of feels like they're cannibalizing their VIP tour crowd if they want them to buy this pass. Oh, listen,
I just think it's really
the
steep.
response
I
has
think
been
it's
quite
really
negative.
expensive. Yeah,
The
because
response has been negative.
I think the response has been negative, partially because of this program, but partially because Disney is on the verge of pricing out its market, and I
I think
this
they're
is
figuring out what the
another
price is
nail. Well,
because the parks
are they
aren't
though?
lacking in
Because
attendance.
but are they though? I mean, they aren't sold out. I mean, I was looking at it yesterday. Like, we could up and leave tomorrow and there's space in the Contemporary. There's space in Pop Century. I
Well,
mean, and
what are we
it's like
waiting for? Let's go.
right. And, like, I understand this is the off season, but, like, it actually definitely is not. The holidays are right around the corner. It is not so scary season. There is no reason that there should be hotel rooms available in Pop Century.
Right.
I think Disney has priced out its market, and I think this is not helping, and I think that's why people are angry about it. I think it
There's two
is
things. There's two ways to make money. You either fill the park, and they don't want the parks completely full.
no,
Because
nobody wants that.
a really full park is a bad experience. They need the parks to not be at capacity. So what
Right.
they do is you raise the prices. You're still making the money because you're getting more in cost, and you're keeping the crowds manageable. And I think
Right.
ultimately that's what they're trying to do is find the sweet spot. Almost said the sweep spot. You know, our
Mm.
friend, Kim, Ken and Lynn on Sweep Spot. Yeah, good podcast. But the sweet spot of what price range keeps crowds ideal or manageable and keeps profits flowing. And I think that's what they're
Right.
just trying to figure out. And listen, from an emotional standpoint, I understand the backlash. But from a business standpoint, I mean, I get it. I mean, it's a business decision.
I
So
just don't think
hopefully
it's
it
a
won't
good
take away from
idea.
people's experience. I don't
I
think it's going
mean,
to affect anyone's experience. If you were going to here's another thing I made. We're 15 minutes in. This is the point I made in the Disney and the TikTok. If you had a Disney park vacation planned for November, whether or not they rolled this out has zero impact on your trip. It will make zero impact. If you weren't staying at a value, if you weren't staying at a deluxe, you can't do it anyway. So your park is what your plan is what your plan was. If you're going to a deluxe, you can still do everything you had planned to do. Like nothing is being taken away from you. It's just
yeah.
if you want to spend the money on this, if you're willing to spend the money on this, we have a thing here for you if you want to do this. But no one has to do it. And I think what you and I have discovered over the years is whether whether it was Genie Plus or Lightning Lane or whatever it is, I personally don't have to do any of that to enjoy myself in the park. Now, if you want to ride if you're only going one time in your life, and you're traveling from maybe a different country or whatever, and you want to make sure you ride everything and you've saved, then yeah, maybe you'd want one of these passes to make sure you ride everything. But for people like you and I who've been to the park multiple times, or the annual pass holders, they don't need this, right?
Yeah,
They
I
don't need
just
this.
don't think anyone's gonna bite. I think that the numbers are gonna be very low, much like the Star Cruiser. Like, it's gonna be all this hype at the beginning for the media attention, and then it's gonna fall flat on its face. And
Well, maybe.
I
Yeah.
what I think is really interesting about it, and this is my last point, this comes at a time this announcement came out, you said yesterday,
No, it was
on
last week, late last
last
week.
week.
Mhm.
Well, also late last week on Friday was the official Epic Universe trailer. And I
Mhm.
think we could do a whole episode about the Universal Disney, not beef, I wouldn't say they're beef, but like competition. And
Maybe, but I'll be honest with you, I don't pay any attention to Universal Park stuff.
I'm
So
I'm seeing this what I'm observing is Disney trying to play catch up to the things that Universal does well. Objectively, a consistent problem that people complain about with Disney is the Lightning Lane Fast Pass situation. It's a mess. Nobody likes it. Over at Universal, they have this pay one time, fee for the Fast Pass, and everyone's happy. And I almost see them trying to bring what works at Universal over into Disney, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. I think it just looks bad
I was at
because
the
they're not
Disney
doing it
Institute.
as well. Like, I would rather them just rip off Universal's Lightning Lane program than do
Mhm.
this. You know what I'm saying?
I'm
Like,
going to
just do the
address
same
this.
thing.
I'm going to address the Universal thing real quickly. I was at the Disney Institute about a month ago. The thing about Universal came up. You know what the response was?
They are not related.
Disney does not care. They don't really care what Universal's doing. They were kind about it. They said, "Let them do what they want to do. They can be their
Yeah.
park, and we're going to be our park." There is
Yeah,
no,
like, I don't think they're enemies. Like, they share the same market. It
but
wouldn't do
there's
them any good
no,
to, like, go like
but there,
this.
but there isn't any. Oh, they're doing this, so we have to start doing that. Believe me,
No.
there's that doesn't exist.
I mean,
I mean, they
maybe.
were pretty clear about it. They were like, "Let them do what they're going to do. We're going to do what we're going to do." So, all
There
right,
is
we're like almost 20 minutes into this. Do we have anything really to put a cherry on top of this Lightning Lane
no,
Premier
I'm just
Pass? Or
shocked. You dropped the prices, and I was, floored.
yeah, yeah.
That's
You know what else floors
crazy.
people? You know what else
The
floors
Disney
people?
dad joke of the week.
The Disney Dad Joke of the Week definitely knocks people out, either laughing or in embarrassment. So, are
Yeah.
you ready for this week's Disney Dad Joke of the Week?
I am so ready.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, Disney fans of all types, it is time for this week's Disney Dad Joke of the Week. Meaning,
Yes.
Louis, from Princess and the Frog,
Yeah.
Louis
Yeah.
plays the horn.
Yeah, that's what I was doing.
Did you know Tiana tried to cook Louis? She tried to make a
What?
dish out of Louis. She did.
What?
Luckily for him, she couldn't find her crock pot. Get it?
That's a really good one. I like that.
Because Louis an alligator and the crock
Yes,
pot.
crock.
Yeah,
Yes.
so there you go. That's this
Did
week's
mom
Disney
make a
Dad joke
crock
of the week.
pot meal this week? Is that where that came
No,
from?
no. I got inspired by a different dad joke that I heard. So
I see.
if listen, if you're watching on YouTube or if you're listening on the podcast, you have a dad joke of the Disney variety you'd like us to consider using for the show. If we have not used it yet and it is show appropriate, we would be happy to consider your joke. So send it to us right here on the screen. Where is it? Right here at Disney Assembled on all the socials.
At Disney Assembled on
Or-
Gram, Book,
Yeah.
Talk, X, Threads.
Of
Do
course,
it.
there's always good old fashioned email.
Disney
Assembled
Assembled at gmail.com.
gmail.com. That's it. All right. We got about, I want to try to keep this to about 15 minutes, and which won't be hard for us because this week, in our series of the reasons why this park is the best of the Walt Disney World parks, we're going to talk
We
about
are
Animal Kingdom.
tackling Animal Kingdom. Yep.
Yeah. So,
So excited.
listen, if you've listened to
I
our
have
show,
some reasons. I do
Look-
like Animal Kingdom.
and we have reasons why it's the best park. But for anyone who's listened to our show for a while, you recognize this. We appreciate Animal Kingdom. We think it is a good park. It's not a bad park.
No, none of
It
them are bad
ranks-
parks.
But it ranks number 4 on our list, right?
Yes.
So, but we did, as we were talking before the show, we have some ideas that maybe our listeners or our viewers will agree with when it comes to why
Yeah.
the Animal Kingdom is the best park at the Walt
Yes.
Disney World Resort in Florida. So, do you
Before
want to go
we
first?
start,
You want me to
though-
kick it off? No,
Well, before we start, I have a discretionary statement I would like to add to
a
this
disclaimer.
because
A disclaimer.
a
Okay.
disclaimer. Yes, we do often say that Animal Kingdom is our least favorite park. And I was originally going to put this point in one of my reasons why it's the best park, but I don't necessarily think that's fair. It is not Animal Kingdom's fault. It is the lack of development in the park. It is Josh D'Amaro's fault.
What?
I would like to just put that out there.
What?
The reason that I was going to say that the ultimate reason Animal Kingdom is not our favorite park is because it does not have very much in it, which
You're
is or very
crazy.
much ride attractions in it. But
Okay.
all of that is
All right.
changing, which is it'll probably shoot up in the ranks. If I'm being completely honest with the Indiana Jones, it will probably shoot up in the ranks. But I was gonna say the new developments as a part of why it's the best park, but I didn't really think that was fair because it's not a part of the park now.
Well,
So-
let's go with it. One of the reasons it's the best part is it's got some great stuff.
It's got a bunch of
coming.
new stuff coming. It's got a bunch of awesome new stuff coming. I'm so
Oh.
excited for Indiana Jones. I think I don't totally remember everything else that they said that's appearing,
Well, the
but Indiana
casita.
Jones is awesome. Casita is awesome. I think that's going to be a really interesting, beautiful piece of architecture, of engineering.
Yeah.
I think it's
I
going
think it's
to
the Tropical Americas section.
like I think it is going to be absolutely gorgeous. If it's anything, if it's the story and the detail of Pandora with the technology and the like I don't even know, like immersiveness of Galaxy's Edge, which I think it will be, it's going to be just beautiful. It's going to be red and pink and yellow, and I'm so excited.
I think you hit the nail on the head. I think it's exactly going to be that using that ingenuity, that Imagineering is going to be top notch. Don't forget, It's Tough to Be a Bug is going to be replaced by a Zootopia show in the Tree
Yes,
of Life.
love Zootopia.
Which, by the way, speaking of the Tree of Life, just today, October 21st, 2024, on TikTok, Disney Fun Fact TikTok by me about the Tree of Life. So there you have it. Things are it's synchronicity. We're talking about this thing. A great first point, exactly why the Animal Kingdom.
I just
is
didn't
the
know if
best
that
part.
counted because it's not a part of the
It
park
count-
now.
Do you want it? Would you like it to count?
Sure, it can count.
It counts. Then it counts. I give it. It counts. All right, there you go. All right, I have a reason. The food in the Animal Kingdom
Oh yeah.
is low key fantastic. Let me tell you something. If I didn't, if not for the variety at Epcot, I might I might consider Animal Kingdom the best place to eat. Let me tell you something. When I was on my trip recently, I got the chance to go to the Nomad Lounge. I had never been to the Nomad Lounge before.
Oh, yeah, we usually skip it.
Well, you kind of have to get there right when it opens because they don't take reservations. You got to slip in there, right? I had the chicken wings at Nomad Lounge. And let me get close to the mic and explain this to you. I'm eating these chicken wings, and I heard angels from the heavens in my ears, and my mouth felt like it was having a party. The wings were so good. The food was so good. And of course, you and I have eaten other meals in Animal Kingdom, and I've never been disappointed. Never
Right.
been disappointed in Animal Kingdom. So another reason why Animal Kingdom is the best park at Walt
The
Disney World
food.
is got to be the food. It's
Yeah,
fantastic. Right. Do you have
that's a good
another
one.
reason? Do you have another reason why it's the best
I
park?
do. Yeah. I said this in Hollywood Studios, but I'm saying it again now. The ambiance in Animal Kingdom is incredible. I think the animal noises, but they're not like loud animal noises. The like birds and the actual birds too, like the macaws and the like sort of not tropical music, but like the themed music to each like area of the world, like the Asian music and the African music and how it's all different. Like I think that the ambiance and the soundtracks of Animal Kingdom really bring it to life. Um, when you walk around the Tree of Life, you can just like your senses are in this moment, you know? It's very grounding. And I think that's kind of the point. I think it's although it's a massive theme park that is not real and has very little real nature in it,
It's a real theme park. What are you talking
it is
about?
it's very grounding. And I think it's I don't know. I just think the ambiance in Animal Kingdom is great, and I think the theming of the park as a whole is incredible. Like, it's very cohesive, even the parts that are different. I mean, like Pandora, which is an entirely different point altogether, which is its own IP that has its own land. I mean, like one of the first of its kind, right? Like with Cars Land, I think they opened around the same time. Like these themed lands that kind of stick out. Like in Hollywood Studios, like Toy Story Land is its own thing, Galaxy Edge is its own thing, but it blends into the rest of Animal Kingdom very, very well. I think it's a very cohesive park, and that makes
Yep.
it the best.
I mean, I agree with you. I can't disagree. I think those are all very good points about Animal Kingdom. It certainly makes it one of the best parks, if not the best, because we're considering it the best park today.
Mhm.
Listen, we talked about the Tree of Life. I mean, it's iconic. It is absolutely iconic. I
Mhm.
don't want to go eat. I don't want to state the obvious because we talked about Epcot and the Spaceship Earth being a reason why it's the best park.
Mhm.
I don't want to state the obvious about the Tree of Life, but the Tree of Life, it is an amazing feat of architecture. And so here's another reason why Animal Kingdom is the best park. It has two iconic places that I think are absolute marvels of Imagineering and engineering. Actually, three. I'm going to call three.
Okay.
I think Expedition Everest, even though the Yeti
Gorgeous.
doesn't move, is a feat of Imagineering beauty. I
Yeah.
think the Tree of Life, with its over 300 carved animals,
And it
145
looks
feet tall,
so real.
165 feet wide, over 100,000 leaves on the tree, which, by the way, it has never lost a single leaf off that tree.
Hmm.
And the floating rocks in Pandora. These
Absolutely.
three feats of engineering are spectacular. Absolutely spectacular. And by the way, I did a TikTok about the floating rocks too. So go back on our TikTok and see that. But I think because of those three marvelous feats of Imagineering, and if you want to throw the shaman at the end of the Navi River
Yeah,
journey in there. There
absolutely.
is some great examples. Some of the best examples of Imagineering at its best are at Disney's Animal Kingdom. And for that reason, it is the best park in the Walt Disney World
Yeah,
Resort.
yeah. No, I 100% agree. I think just the floating rocks in general could have earned that title, but you're right, like, the tree is massive and it's gorgeous and it looks so real. Like, you would not know that it's not a real tree at all. And the
Right.
shaman is great, and Everest is great, and the whole like, the way that they make Everest look taller, the forced perspective of the Everest mountain is so good.
Yeah.
I think kind of kind of on that, like, a little bit different. No, it's actually a lot different. You just said the Tree of Life, and it reminded me of this. I think Animal Kingdom is the least overstimulating park to be in, if that makes any sense. And
No,
I
I
mean
hear you.
that
Yeah.
in the sense that there are so many trails and so many places to walk and be and sit down, and granted, there is not a whole lot of shade on, like, the main circle, but if you go into the Tree of Life and on these little walking trails, walking paths, it's a lot of greenery, and it's calm, and it's quiet, and the ambiance of it really drowns out the crowd that's, maybe 25 feet from you, and I think that it's a really good park to have a kid that might get overstimulated quickly because you can duck out, there's an escape, so to say, away from it, and in a way that I don't think exists at the other parks. I mean, Magic Kingdom, definitely not. There is nowhere to go for peace and quiet in Magic Kingdom. There's very few places in Epcot. You gotta know where to look, and I think they just closed. Like, the one that I would say would be the Connections, not like the Connections Cafe, but, like, the Connections little cart outside Test Track, like, in between Test Track and Guardians, you know what I'm talking about? Like, that's a good spot, but you gotta know where to be. And in Hollywood Studios, I don't think that there's a whole lot of quiet space there, but in Animal Kingdom, there is a lot of things to do that are not just theme park, and we love theme park and it's yippee, hooray, but sometimes it's like, okay, like, this is
Right.
a lot of theme park, and I think Animal
Right.
Kingdom is the
Yeah.
antithesis of that in a good way.
Cool. Those are good reasons why
Yes.
it's the best park. We didn't say safari,
We did
but I'm going to
not.
tell you something. That safari is pretty spectacular, what they've done with that savannah area back there to create a savannah that you can ride through and do a safari tour and see animals that appear to be right next to you that could kill you, but really they can't get to you. Again, I think it makes it a fantastic. It's unlike any other park, that safari ride. So I'm
Mhm.
going to loop that in as another reason why the Animal Kingdom is the best park in Walt Disney
Yeah.
World. I can think of two more reasons. I don't know if you could think of one. I mentioned something about the floating rocks. I don't know. You said earlier that you were going to talk. You were thinking about the Avatar land itself.
Yeah,
But
I
yeah,
could talk about Pandora. I think Pandora is one of the reasons that Animal Kingdom is the best park because Galaxy's Edge has the big name, and everyone knows Galaxy's Edge, Star Wars Land. But I think for a long time, when Pandora was the only one of its kind, you know what I'm saying? The only sort of themed IP land of its kind,
yeah,
it became a really iconic, classic, beloved place within the parks. I think it is many people's favorite spots, whether they want to admit it or not. I think Flight of Passage is wonderful. I think it's worth the wait every time. I will wait in it every time. Navi River Journey is kind of a different story, but honestly, the shaman animatronic is
I love Navi River Journey.
incredible. Yeah. I mean, it has every single joint, like, from the waist up, it has every joint that a human has. Like, do you know how cool that is? That's crazy. Or, like, or however many joints, like, I guess a Navi would have, like, not quite human. And it's no corners were cut in Pandora, 0.
Right.
And I think there's no debate about it, There's no question of should it have been included, should it have all these IPs, should it have all these characters? It's very simple. It's very collectively agreed upon that it is just perfect.
and something we haven't seen in person, but we've seen pictures.
Oh,
Pandora
at
at
nighttime.
night
Just
looks
gorgeous.
stunning. And one day, hopefully, we'll be at the park long enough to go at night and see that, right?
Oh, yeah.
I have one more reason, and then maybe we can
Okay.
name a reason why it's not the best park.
I also have one more reason, so you go first.
Oh, you do? Well,
Mhm.
well, you do yours and I'll do mine.
No, mine is short. You go last.
Okay, mine. It's more personal to you and I. The animal kingdom is home to the secret cup holder.
Yes, it is.
The secret cup holder, which is located in Pandora. I've taken pictures of it before and posted it on our socials. I don't know if it's supposed to be a cup holder or not, but let me tell you something. The secret cup holder, beautiful place, wonderful spot. Sit down, drink your Starbucks, enjoy yourself. If you can find a secret cup holder, take a picture there and send it to us at
Yeah.
DisneyCinema@gmail.com.
For sure. My last one is also a little bit less, like, serious, kinda on the secret cup holder train. The Kevin. Gotta love
Kevin
Gotta love Kevin.
and
I don't have anything else.
Divine.
Yes, Divine is
The
so
big
cool.
green, Divine and Kevin.
Yes.
So listen, ladies and gentlemen, Disney fans of all sorts, you've been listening. These are the reasons
For
why.
a very long time. You've been listening for a very long
Yeah,
time.
these are the reasons why the Animal Kingdom is the very best park in the Walt Disney World Resort. We're going to stop it there. I don't want to go into the negative on Animal Kingdom.
No.
Let's keep it positive. But maybe our listeners, maybe our listeners would like to know the answer to last week's trivia question,
And this week's trivia question.
and instructions on how they can tell us what they think of Disney's Animal Kingdom. So go for it.
Yes. So last week's trivia question was, what does CDA stand for in Monsters Incorporated? And the answer is Child Detection Agency. So if you got that one right, little claps for you. You're the
I
smartest
do know
person
that
here.
Lizel and Andrew got that correctly. So congratulations to the two of
Gotta
you.
love it.
Smartest people
And
we
this
know.
week's question, smartest people we know. This week's question is Something There is a song from which movie? So if you know the answer to that question, or if you have any thoughts about Animal Kingdom, please send them to us, disneyassembled@gmail.com, or send us a message on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, and Threads, all at Disney Assembled. But if you guys want to support the show further, link to our TeePublic, Patreon, Buy Us a Dole Whip is all on the website, disneyassembled.com. Make sure you go check it out.
Yeah, please do that. We'd appreciate your consideration there. But the best thing you can do if you want to help us out, if you want to help us get on the Creating Joy train, help people have a better day, better life, share the show with your friends. Tell them about it. Share it on your socials. If you haven't done a rating or review yet, we'd really appreciate it. If you've done a rating or review, do another one. What does it hurt? Yeah, do another review. Maybe you love us even more than you did the first time, and let us know. If you're listening on Good Pods, give us that endorsement. We'd really appreciate it. We're climbing the charts on the leisure charts on Good Pods. We're in the top 10, on our way to number 1. So if you're on Good Pods, help us out. Follow the show, listen, give us a thumbs up. All right. Amy,
Yes.
that's it for this week. Good job.
We gotta wrap it up. I'm getting
Virtual
kicked
high
out of
five?
the studio.
You're getting kicked out of the studio, virtual high five.
Yeah.
All right, very good.
It closes
All right.
soon.
All right, very good. Then we'll wrap things up. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, Disney fans of all sorts, we hope this episode brought a smile to your face, some extra magic to your day, and that very, very important sprinkle of pixie dust to your week. Thank you so much again for listening, and until next time, see you real soon.
Please collect your belongings, watch your head and step, and take small children by the hand.